Very good. So, this pandemic, everything, have you done a lot of house work?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy times we're living in, right?
Yeah. Did you manage to, stay sane in all these periods?
Not really. Same as a lot of people, started drinking way too heavy, took care of that. So now I'm kind of back on track. But yeah, it's been hard on everybody.
Yeah. It's been crazy. I don't think everyone ever expected, to be faced with something like this anyway. It's just, we
Yeah.
can watch that in movies, but living it,
The funny thing is, what's that movie? Contagion. It's one of
yeah.
my favorite movies. I love that movie. And now I'm living it. Yeah.
And going to the new Exodus record, Persona Non Grata. When did you guys start working on the songs for the records?
Well, I was compiling riffs for quite a while and working on things at home. But July, I think, of last year is when I, gathered up some equipment and drove up to Tom's place in the mountains and started fleshing them out, with him and putting drums to the stuff and really putting them together.
Cool. And how is Tom doing now? Is he
He's
better?
doing great.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's strongest man I know.
Well, that's
You know,
that's great
we
news.
just played our we
Is he
just played our first show back with him about two weeks ago, I think, at
okay?
Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, and it was incredible. Super emotional moment.
Yeah, that's great. And so is despite like the problems that he had, is like normal life and everything. Is being able to do everything as normal.
Yeah, I mean, he's had to learn a new relationship with food, because he doesn't have a stomach,
Yeah.
so you have to eat like all your meals in very small meals multiple times a day, and there's certain things you just can't have anymore. But he's adjusting quite well, and he's living his life right now and doing so good. We're very happy.
Well, that's great. And I know that you leave the title for the listener to to say which persona non grata they they think it is. But if you could pick one persona, what do you say? Coronavirus, maybe?
Yeah, that's my persona non grata right now. This damn virus. It's kind of screwed everything up. But
Yeah.
for Exodus, it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that it had a negative effect on us. We weren't going to tour in the summer when it started. We were going to make an album. Coronavirus gave us an opportunity to do the album uninterrupted with no tour offers coming up at the last minute and things like that. And then Tom had cancer, so it gave us the time for him to get better. And so we pushed the album back, and right when we thought we had timed it all perfectly, well, it's still causing all kinds of trouble on tour, so we postponed our tour to next year. So that's really the first time it's had a negative effect on us as far as a band.
Yeah. Have you ever been off the road for this amount of time?
No. Maybe in the 90s when I retired for a little bit,
Yeah.
but when we came home from Europe on the Bass Strikes Back tour, I was 55. And when we played our next show, I was 57. I'm 2 years older,
Yeah. Y-
mathematically I was 2 years older, wasn't a full 2 years, but yeah, that's never happened.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm going to my first show next this Sunday, actually, on Halloween night. It's a Moonspell concert, and
Nice.
it's been 2 years almost since I last stepped in the pit to shoot a band, and it's crazy. I miss that so much that I don't know if I remember how to work with a camera anymore.
I know, right? You don't really appreciate things like this until they're gone, and then you're just like, wow, man, I really miss it. Like festivals.
Yeah,
When you're playing festivals every summer, it's like, oh God, another 2 hour van ride to the middle of nowhere where my phone doesn't work and all that. Now I can't wait to do it again.
yeah.
Please let me play a festival.
Yeah, it's it's insane. And going back to the record, you said you collect ideas throughout time. Did you always collecting ideas? Are you always like recording stuff on the phone or on a tape or whatever?
On my phone, usually, I just put it on voice recorder and throw it in front of the amp and record it. Sometimes, even if I don't have an amp, I'll just put it up by the neck so I can hear the notes a little bit, or, and I'll write notes down if I don't have a guitar around, if I got an idea, just, I'm always working on stuff one way or another.
Yeah. Did you ever woke up in the middle of the night with a song idea, with a riff?
All the time, all the time. Especially in the morning, I'll wake up sometimes and the light bulb just goes off and like, I got it. I figured it out. Especially if you're having problems with a song,
Yeah. And did you ever forgot like a riff or something that really made you pissed off? Like, fuck.
A million times. That's why I record them. Because sometimes, you'll write this riff and it's really great and you never remember it the way you originally wrote it. And you end up even recording it and it becomes like a classic. But to me, I'll always remember that it's not the same. The way I had it in the beginning, I couldn't remember it, and it was just a little bit better.
And one of the things, this album, it's probably one of the best records that came out this year, bar none. To be honest, it's from start to finish, there's no filler in it, nothing. It's all the songs. Was because of the pandemic that you guys had time to work on the songs, to craft them, to the point of you realize, okay, this is a fucking amazing record. Did you guys get that idea when you finished recording the album?
Well, when we were done, we knew we had created something super special. I think just having the uninterrupted time and really going back to the basics, and that is Tom hunting, myself, a drum set, and a Marshall half stack in a room, and just working stuff out and getting it to where we really loved it. Like some of the songs, if you heard the original version, it's nothing alike, completely different. Like The Beatings Will Continue was like not even a fast song, the main riff, and it was totally different. And I just broke it down and destroyed it, and made something totally new out of it. And but we just got together and just worked, we didn't do anything really differently other than we just put in more hours, and we're still learning, for no matter how many years we've been doing this, I'm still learning, things about myself as far as a songwriter. And sometimes you learn late in life, to correct things. Like I've never been my own best editor.
Yeah.
Sometimes songs are 12 minutes long because of that. And that's okay. I love epics, but on this sound, we didn't intend for things to be shorter. We just we weren't afraid to throw a part out, even if it was like the best riff, just now it's kind of unnecessary. Let's get rid of it,
Yeah.
Next.
And, having all this time, working with Tom, like in their, home studio, is it like a better environment, so to say, than being stuck in a studio where you're playing, where you have the pressure to, have things done? Did that help like the creative juices flowing even more?
Well, for starters, Exodus never records in a regular studio. We build our studios. But this was the first time we had enough equipment to do the drums in our own studio as well. So whereas in the past, we would book studio time, record the drum tracks, then they're done and the drums are gone. No ability to record drums anymore at all. This way, Tom had this drum sitting there the whole time. And like a month later, he could come in the room and say, you know what, I can play that song better. Let me do it. Go for it. Drums are right there. Knock yourself out. And so we were able to create, all of us, the whole time. No one was ever finished with our tracks due to, running out of studio time. And so, that was the one big difference. But we've always recorded on our own. We don't like traveling in traffic to go to the recording studio and shit like that. You know, that's just a bummer. I'd rather wake up, have coffee, and walk 20 feet and start recording.
It's always better when you're
totally.
when you have a more home environment. Anyway, what was the first song that started this record, or it was a bunch of different ones? actually.
Probably the title track. That one I had done completely, and and I'd sent the songs without drums to Tom, to like get familiar with them, and I think that was the first one that was done. Took a long time to get master because it's very complex. But that and REMF and Elitist were done, at home before we ever got together, and some of the other stuff was very close to it.
Yeah. And, one of the songs, Clickbait, and I think it's self-explanatory in a way what is about. We live in a time where, headlines are not what they used to be anymore. When, there was like the headline is here, something big or whatever, it's happening. Now it's just, you click on it, oh, it's nothing to do with
Yeah. Or, they take just a little bit of the subject matter and out of context, it sounds super controversial
Yeah.
or, it's not the way it came out, and it's, in heavy metal news, it's huge, it just cracks me up, and a lot, I've read people when we put the single for Clickbait out, everybody interprets everything differently and half of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Some people think it's like about fake news, like, the conservatives, and like, come on, look at the guy who wrote it. Everybody knows I'm not a conservative. But I mean, I like the fact that we can confuse people.
Well, it's still a good thing that you can surprise people once in a while, It's not.
That's why I like leaving songs up for interpretation, because if I don't really tell you what we mean, most people will get it wrong. Some people will get it right, and no one knows. And if I don't tell them, everybody loves the song.
Yeah, and one of the things about songs is like you can be going through something when you write a song that for you it's about that, but a fan can be listening to it and have gone through something completely different, but still identify with the vibe and the message of the song.
Yeah, exactly. A song should appeal to more than just one person. I mean, at least I think so. I hope so. We're a band of various different ideologies. We're one of the last of a dying breed. Opposite ends of the political spectrum that still love each other and get along. If the whole world could be more like Exodus, we'd be a lot better off.
So what you're saying, is it possible that people with different views can get along?
Yeah. I mean, 3/5 of Exodus are conservatives and 2/5 are liberal, with one of them, me, being kind of a centrist. I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And we're still just brothers for life. And, you don't argue politics and religion with people you disagree with, right? That's what they always say. And, so as a band, we don't sit on the bus and start arguing about politics. We're going to talk about UFO versus rainbow. Which one's better?
Yeah. For me, that's what it's funny because one of these days, actually it was like 2 days ago, I put just a photo because we are going to some political turmoil in Portugal at the moment. Nothing special. It's just, something going on. And I put a photo from something that happened, when we had another crisis some years back. And my Twitter exploded because of that. And, I put photos of my cats. I put, my links for my radio shows and everything. No one cares about that. One political photo and everybody had something to say.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it on my Instagram. Like I could sit there and like, post a bunch of political stuff, but I think there's so much fighting and disagreement in the world today. I don't need to add to it. There's enough without me starting fights on my Instagram, which it'll start a fight, And so I'll post pictures of guitars and kittens. While other people like fight it out.
I ended up deleting that tweet anyway because I just, it's not for me. I'm getting old. I don't have time for arguments or, everybody has their beliefs, and I'm not going to start a fight or arguments with people because I don't have the patience for that, and I don't have the time either for
Yeah.
any of that. Anyway, so I'm looking forward for your Saturday pictures on Instagram anyway. So hope you have a good one for this week.
I've got a huge folder of Saturday things to fall back on. People send me stuff all the time, every day. Some of them are really good. Yeah.
Cool. And we are on Halloween. Halloween is already Sunday, I think. Do you like this holiday? If so, when it comes to movies, you have favorites?
I don't get out. I've been to the movies during this pandemic like twice, and that was both times I went down to visit my daughter down in Hollywood. But I do love Halloween. I mean, not as much as I did when I was younger. Now I love it because, I get to take the grandkids out trick or treating. But when I was younger, those were the best parties of the year, everybody dress up and get wasted. But yeah, I love Halloween. I want to go see that movie Lamb.
Yeah. I haven't watched that yet. I haven't been to the movies like in 2 years, even though cinemas are
Yeah.
open now and everything. I'm just not comfortable yet. It's just, I'm just afraid, really, to be honest. With
There's a
all,
couple movies I want to see right now, and I think I'll go see them like early in the day when the theater's empty and I'll just sit by myself.
yeah. Well, that's a good idea. The problem is kids are on the holidays now, so they probably will
Uh,
fill the cinemas early as well.
well, especially now.
Yeah, and the album's coming out soon, and next year you guys are already, if pandemic willing, you guys are going to play some shows. We are actually going to play in Portugal in a festival along with Testament. Um, for those who haven't watched Exodus live, which is a shame if they haven't. But what can they expect from the live show other than getting their ass kicked from start to finish?
Non-stop action. We're not a band content to stand there and look at our feet. Uh, our necks are made for one thing, and that's bang it. We're gonna go out and just destroy the place. We go out every night on stage with one goal, and that is to completely destroy everything.
Yeah,
And anybody who played before us and after us. We want to give people their money's worth.
yeah.
That's it. And we love doing it, and that's why. I mean, I can't perform any other way than the way I do because the music demands it.
Yeah,
I have to go out and bang my head.
of course. And playing live, what's the worst thing that can happen to you as a guitar player, as a musician, when you're on stage, other than, let's say, the amp blowing up or something like that?
I mean,
What was it?
I've had some bad falls on stage. I've broken ribs and stuff. Things happen when you're a band that says that moves as much as Exodus does. And sometimes you just fall down. Sometimes you crash into each other. Things happen, but even those are okay. It's a job hazard, occupational hazard. I'll take it.
Yeah. And last time you were here, you were with Slayer. How was that tour for you? Obviously for the band was emotional because it was the farewell tour. For you, being part of the band for a good few years as well was probably bittersweet as well. How was that? All that farewell tour for you as well.
It was very bittersweet, very emotional, a lot of fun. And it was also kind of the countdown to my return to full time to Exodus, which, I've long since been struggling emotionally with like being away. This is my first family and my childhood friends,
Yeah.
and I want to be back. And then when I got the notice that we were going to call it a day and there'd be 2-year final tour, at least I had like a calendar date that, I would be back. And so, I just enjoyed it, had a great time, spending the years I spent with Slayer, my family number two, and appreciated all of it, and then when it was over, I was back on the road with Exodus 2 months later. And then the pandemic happened.
You know,
See
I
what happens Slayer ends and the world went to shit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Slayer, no more, and then the world goes to shit. How's that possible? We need Slayer back.
I know, right? There's your cure to COVID right there.
Might be a stupid question, but are you going to work with Carrie on his project, or you just focus on Exodus?
I'm just focused on Exodus. I don't know anything about that. Everybody asks me all the time. Like, I know no more than anybody else does. I know from an interview that Carrie and Paul are doing the project, and I don't know who else is in it, but it's not me.
Yeah. And, when it comes to Exodus, I think the first time I saw you guys was 2000, 2001, maybe at Wacken. Um, Wacken Open Air, yeah. It was 2000, 2001, I'm not sure.
Something.
Yeah, you had a different haircut than you have now. I think you
Still
have,
short.
yeah, your hair was like way shorter, I think.
Growing back still, yeah.
Yeah. And you were one of the first for the Bay Area, along with Metallica and everything. You guys were one of the most important bands that came out of that. Um, do you think Exodus should be bigger than what they are now?
I don't waste time worrying about whether we should or shouldn't be bigger. I'm 57 years old. I've been doing this 40 years and I'm still making a living out of it. I'm pretty lucky. It's like anybody who could do all of that, especially after all the self-inflicted damage that we did with drugs and and dealing with death and loss and semi-retirement at one point. I'm still here doing it. I mean, I'm pretty fucking lucky. Like,
Yeah,
so I don't sit and dwell on like what I could have done because I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing.
yeah. And when we listen to Persona Non Grata, I think it's safe to say that Exodus' best years are still ahead.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, we still love doing what we do, and we love playing extremely fast, and we love writing really aggressive shit. We're not in some band that's sitting there like bored with playing thrash metal, and we just want to like experiment and do some country rock or something. I'll leave that for other people. We're here to like kick people in the face,
Yeah,
and we love kicking people in the face. So. I mean, with a smile, of course.
yeah. And when you're growing up, what were the bands that made you want to pick up the guitar in the first place?
I started out, like a lot of people my age on hard rock, like AC/DC and, Leonard Skinner and Robin Trower and Montrose and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Blackfoot, a million bands. And then, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, Motorhead, new wave of British heavy metal, British hardcore punk, and Venom. Venom are heroes of mine, and Merciful Fate, and all that stuff. Just all blended together to make Exodus.
Do you remember the first show you ever attended?
First show I ever attended was a Day on the Green. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. There were so many of them. The big outdoor concerts they used to have in the Bay Area, and I know it was AC/DC with Bon Scott, um, Mahogany Rush, I think, Ted Nugent, probably. And, there's usually about 10 bands. I can't remember. I went to like, every summer we'd go to like 5 of them.
Oh,
Cost
that's
like $10 or something.
good times.
Yeah, different era.
So when it comes to music, these albums coming out, are you already collecting ideas for a follow-up, or you guys just prefer to see if the tours are going to happen and focus on rehearsing and prepare the tours? Or are you working on music not to get too bored with life?
I'm always working on music. I got 1,000 riffs, really great stuff that didn't make the last album. Sometimes, I'll write really cool stuff that doesn't make the record because I get like kind of OCD and I like don't dig back into the stuff I wrote a few months ago because I wrote something yesterday and I'm more excited about the new thing. And then sometimes I'll like, go back and listen like, wow, wait a minute, what was that? That was really cool. So, I'm always writing. I've always got ideas. I got tons of song titles and things like that. So hopefully, I'm going to kind of give myself through to the holidays and after that, I'll probably like start jamming and working on new songs while waiting to tour for this album.
Yeah, and you talked about OCD and not having like a really being the best editor, so to say, for your stuff. Ever work on a song that was taking so long to to be, what you envision in your head that you just decided to throw it out completely?
Oh, I have one that I've attempted to work on every album for like a long time, and it goes back to like 1999, and Tom just calls it creepy because it's pretty creepy sounding. And like the main theme of the song is like super heavy. I mean, dark and slow and super doomy, and it's super cool. One of these days, I've attempted to like work on that thing, and try to make it not be 12 minutes long, and I haven't done it yet.
Cool. Gary, thank you very much for your time. All the best for the Exodus record. It's amazing record. It's really, really, really good. It's one of the best records I've heard this year. When it comes to thrash, is definitely the best that came out this year. And, it's one of those that will stand the test of time when we listen to it in 20 years' time. And it's going to be as a classic as Bonded by Blood. It's going to be there. You say, like, it's Bonded by Blood, it's where it started. And in the middle, they had this great record as well. And hopefully, like in 20 years' time, there's still another couple of records that we can say they are great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day, and I hope to see you next year. All right.
For sure. See you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.